this week, Hawks goalie Jocelyn Thibault. The NHLPA presents Be a Player, brought to you by EA Sports NHL 2003. If it's in the game, it's in the game.
Welcome to Be a Player. I'm Brett Lindros, and this week I'm in the NHL's original Windy City, Chicago. Today we're going to hook up with steady netminder Jocelyn Thibault, who's having a great year with the Hawks. Jocelyn is among the league leaders in goals against and was named to the Western Conference All-Star team. Later on, we'll heat things up with a visit to a local cooking school that should be lots of fun. But first, here's part one of our Be a Player profile with Vezina candidate Jocelyn Thibault.
Here's a chance for Morrison. He fires. Oh, Thibault! Hammer took a shot right at rebound. Oh, what a save by Thibault! Rebound! Jam out of the net! Pass career, put it in front of shot. Thibault!
Let's go back to the beginning. How did you first get started in hockey?
Well, I grew up in a family of, hockey family. Obviously my grandpa has been a coach, for all his life, and my dad was a referee. He played also, but he was a referee. And I had an uncle that played major junior in the Quebec League in the late 70s, and we were just big hockey freaks.
How did it feel to win the 1993 CHL Goalie of the Year, especially during your draft year?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Again, that year was a magic year. When it's your draft year, you always want to have a great year and make a good impression on scouts and on teams. And obviously there was history of good French young goalies in the past couple of years before me. Felix Padden was playing in Toronto for a few years, and Martin Brodeur was just drafted by New Jersey back then. So I just, again, having a good year was just a great timing for me.
The Quebec Nordiques are very proud to select the Faucon Sherbrooke, Jocelyn Thibault.
You were a regular with the Nordiques at the age of 18. What was your transition like from junior to the NHL?
Well, it was great. I remember my first training camp. I just wanted to go there, and I was 18 years old, so the odds were I was going to go back to juniors, but I just wanted to go there, play, have fun, play hard, and see what happens. And I made the team, and I was a little naive back then. You just go there and have fun. And the weirdest thing is, you're 18 years old, and you show up to the rink, every day with guys, that are married, have kids, 32 years old, 30 years old, and you totally live a different life than these guys and most of the guys on the team. But after a while, you kind of get over that and just enjoy every day.
After the Nordiques relocated to Colorado, you were traded along with others for Patrick Roy. What was it like to be part of that trade?
Well, again, the first couple weeks, first couple months, I was so excited. Again, I was still 20 years old. I was young and a little naive. You just go there and you just play. I had a great start in Montreal. The first couple weeks have been real good. The team was doing great. I was doing great, and I would say my first year was awesome. We got a great team. Made the playoffs. Ended up losing the first round, but still, everything was positive around me. It was everywhere I went, people were real excited. And although Patrick was a great goalie, and he still is, people were starting to question him just before the trade and thought he was on the downslope and things like that. So I got there. Everybody was excited about the trade, and so I got to to enjoy that for the rest of the year.
There was a lot of changes in Montreal while you were there. Does that affect your game when there's a lot of players and coaches coming in and out?
No, that was later on. I think when Mario Tremblay and Regent Will were together. Obviously Mario, as a coach, he wanted gritty players, and I know for a fact he had a lot of problems with skilled players on the team. A lot of skilled players were happy about the way things were going, and Pierre Turgeon asked for a trade. That's a big guy. That's what happened. A lot of guys were traded away for grittier players, and a couple of years after that, obviously Mario Tremblay got fired, and they hired Alain Vigneault. It's Alain's second year when I asked for a trade. And I thought it was a good time for me to move on, but it was a long time after they said that whoever wanted to be traded, they only had to ask for it.
Did you come into Chicago expecting to be the #1 guy?
I was. I had a great start that year in Montreal. Played a lot of games in '98, the start of the season. Played pretty good, and I got to Chicago, and Mark Fitzpatrick was here, and obviously I got traded for Jeff Hackett, so I knew I was going to get some some ice time, you know. And but again, the team here was going through a rebuilding process, and the team wasn't doing very good. And they had missed the playoff the year before, so I got here. There's a lot of changes that were made prior to my trade, and so it was kind of a rebuilding atmosphere here in Chicago, and I was part of that. And after a couple of weeks, they played me pretty much every game till the end of season, so it was a good thing for me. I needed to play. I needed to get back to having fun again, and it was a great year for me.
It's now time for Be a Player Trivia. To play, send your answer to NHLPA.com/beaplayer. All correct answers will be entered in a random draw with a chance to win an NHL 2003 game courtesy of EA Sports. All other correct responses will be entered for a chance to win an autographed NHLPA jersey. For complete contest rules, visit NHLPA.com and click on Be a Player. Who is the only active player to score 50 goals in a season while playing for 2 teams? Join Jocelyn in the kitchen next.
They got you in an apron, cutting onions, you're gonna start crying?
Sure, I remember. That's a cry.
Chicago is home to many great restaurants. However, not all of us are allowed to freely indulge. Hockey players have to be careful about what they eat, since what you have for dinner can definitely impact on how you play. Like many players, Jocelyn Thibault follows a steady diet of plenty of pasta and chicken. However, eating the same thing all the time can get a little boring. So we thought we'd take Jocelyn to the Shane Madeline Cooking School to show him how to spice things up.
So, Madeline, what is on the menu today? What are we going to be creating?
Well, it's a cold winter's day here in Chicago, so let's make a nice warm pasta dish. And a nice fresh salad to go with that. Does that sound like a good pre-game meal?
Yeah, that's great. I love pasta and chicken. That's great.
That sounds
Good.
amazing.
Good choice.
All right, well, let's
Thanks.
get started. Joss, you're up.
Yeah, let's go.
We'll get both of you fellas doing some chopping.
Should I chop them like in small pieces, or
Thin slices all the way to the back.
is there a doctor around just in case something happens?
Look at this, I got you in an apron, cutting onions, you're gonna start crying?
Sure, I remember. That's a cry.
I have the heat on, and I'm just going to coat the bottom of the pan with some olive oil. I like for the pan to get hot so when the onion hits it, it hisses and it doesn't soak into the onion.
Yeah.
Here's our pork sausage. It's fresh, lightly seasoned.
You want a couple?
Yeah, sure.
Great.
There you go. All right, Joss, I got a few more over here. You put the garlic in last because you don't want it in as long?
It burns easily.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
So that's that smell on the bottom of my pan every time. We're learning lots already.
We are. Should we cover it?
Well, we're going to brown it up a little bit.
Okay.
And since it was raw, you noticed I didn't pre-cook it.
No, yeah.
I want some of those flavors in the pan, but I want to check and see that there isn't too much fat.
There we go, man.
It's time for the garlic man.
Garlic, man.
It's one thing about cooking, it intimidates a lot of people. But have you noticed once people get their feet wet?
That's why my classes are interactive. People go away with a lot more confidence
Yeah.
if they've had hands-on. Cooking is, you got to smell it, you got to see it, you got to watch the transformation. That's the fun of it.
Get in there, guys. This broccoli, organic.
Oh yes.
Oh yes.
We're going to add,
Sun-dried tomatoes.
yes,
Beautiful.
color and kind of a richness. I forgot to ask, do you like a little thing, something a little spicy?
Yes, I do, yeah.
You do? Okay.
Bring it on.
Bring it
Okay,
on.
great. Just take a pinch of these red pepper flakes and we'll add a little bit of oil.
All right.
So we have broccoli, onions, garlic, pork sausage, sun-dried tomatoes, oil, and I'm missing something.
Little hot pepper.
Little hot pepper, the last ingredient, the secret ingredient. I missed that.
Ingredient. Let's grab some salt and go over and put the pasta in the water.
Okay. Little pasta.
All right, I'm getting you set up for the salad.
I'm ready.
See, I'm focused on getting.
All right, well, we're on a schedule here, Madeline.
You are going to help us out, Brett,
All
by
right.
grating the cheese.
Yeah, you're on salad dressing.
Yep. Okay.
So we have a little, little Dijon.
Yep. A couple of tablespoons of lemon juice. And then we're going to add a little bit of kosher salt. We need about 1/3 of a cup of this nice roasted garlic oil. You could also add tuna fish.
Oh.
Madeline, should we use more? Yes?
A little bit more.
All right.
When we need your help with the salad,
All right,
you'll
well,
be
let me
finished.
know. You'll be talking to me then.
You think of bite-sized pieces.
Okay.
If you like the stem, put the stem in. If you don't like the stem, leave the stem out.
I'm a big salad fan.
You are?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Mostly for summertime, you know. Like you obviously don't want to put some extra pounds in summertime.
These are a couple of hard-boiled eggs, and I'd like you to kind of crack the shell, then peel it, and then we'll cut it into wedges. I think 1 tomato will probably
Should I
be
cut
enough.
like a little slicer? That's what I do usually, but
Go for it.
I don't know.
This is your salad.
Yeah, whatever you want to do, Joss.
Okay.
Here, Joss. Get that baby over there.
Fold the greens
Okay.
and salad. Bring up that dressing.
Yeah, nice that
It's
looks.
really good. Oh yeah.
Presentation.
Presentation.
What does that count for in cooking?
Oh, a lot.
Looks awesome.
And it's also nice when it kind of overflows.
Yeah, it does.
Speaking of overflowing, we've got our pasta
Pasta,
here.
yeah. Maybe throw in a bit more.
Yeah, let's use it all.
Yeah.
It's a cold day. You did lots of cheese.
We did do lots of cheese. It's all over?
Yeah, just all over. And he's going to give it one last toss, and then we'll serve some at the table.
This looks very good. Thank
All right,
you.
you're very welcome. My
was a great
pleasure.
lesson.
Thank you very much.
I can't wait to eat some.
You did a great job.
Be a Player gives you a chance to ask your favorite NHL player a question. For your chance to participate, visit NHLPA.com. Thomas Chang of Vancouver, British Columbia asked Peter Forsberg, how do you deke one-on-one against some of the elite defensemen in the NHL?
Okay, Thomas, to that question, it's pretty hard to answer because if you go against Blake and Lidstrom, they're hard to go around, and they're such a great skater. So if you're going to beat them, you're going to have to beat them wide and just try to beat them with speed. That's the only way you can beat them.
Coming up, Florida center Stephen Weiss.
I just had a love for it. I don't know what it was. My dream was to make it to the NHL, and it's come true.
Time now for Be a Player Hit Parade, featuring Doc Walker with She Hasn't Always Been This Way.
She's the prettiest girl I have ever seen, the walking definition of a beauty queen. Every man in town wants to take her away,
Look to move
but
back
she
in. Here's
hasn't
Cook trying to get to the net. He
always
did.
been
She
this
scores on the
way.
play.
She hasn't always been this way. I really can't believe how much that
Checked by Wolf. And then Griffin back here from the Scully.
she's out of my life, she's out of my reach. I'm out of her mind, she's out of my league. No, she hasn't always been this way.
Bumpy with 3 low. Make it 4. Bumpy.
The Chicago Art Institute provides reason alone for visiting Chicago. Its world-renowned art gallery consists of magnificent collections that span 5,000 years. The bronze lion statues that welcome you here are almost as famous as the Institute itself. They are a true introduction of what visitors will find inside. One player that needs no introduction to Florida hockey fans is Stephen Weiss. The Ontario native has been a steady force for the Panthers this season. Originally drafted 4th overall in the 2001 draft, Stephen is now proving his worth in the NHL.
Forecheck. Hagman handing to Weiss. Stephen Weiss rips it, scores! Stephen Weiss over the
My parents introduced me to the game when I was young, and I just had a love for it. I don't know what it was. I was always practicing and working on my shot, and always wanted to be at the rink. And I think I started skating about 3 or 4 years old, and it just took off from there. And my dream was to make it to the NHL, and it's come true. I got a lot of fond memories from playing junior. We had a real good team. We went to the finals my first 2 years there. Finished 1st overall both years, and I had a blast. They're doing well again this year, so hopefully they can win it.
From the Plymouth Whalers, Stephen Weiss.
It was a pretty nervous time, and the draft was here in Florida. And after I got drafted by the hometown team, it was pretty cool, and couldn't have picked a better spot. I love playing here, and it's pretty cool to come to the rink in shorts and a t-shirt in December and go to work. I got called up last year to play the last 7 games of the season after we got knocked out of the playoffs, and my first game was on my birthday, so I scored in my first game, and luckily one of the games was in Toronto on Saturday night, Hockey Night in Canada, so that was pretty special. It was awesome. I had a blast those 7 games, and it really prepared me for the summer and kind of showed me what I had to do to get ready to make the club for this year. Obviously, I wasn't expecting to score 30 or 40 goals in my rookie year this year, but I think as you get older and gain more experience and learn the league and learn how to get open and score on these goalies, yeah, I want to score 40 in this league and maybe even more. I want to get a lot stronger, speed, quickness, and just learn the game as much as possible. Try and get better every year. If I can do that, then I'll be happy. But everything that has got you to this level, you want to improve on and just get better and better every day and every year.
And there's Stephen Weiss tipping it in front of Graham.
Be a Player Trivia is brought to you by EA Sports NHL 2003. If it's in the game, it's in the game.
Who's the only player to score 50 goals in one season with 2 different teams?
He got traded and he still scored 50.
Yep.
Shanahan?
No. No.
Mogilny?
No.
Robitaille?
No. Not
50
Luke.
goals.
50 goals.
Luke Robitaille was not lucky. Adam Grace.
No.
Gonna guess Leclerc maybe.
No, not Johnny.
Keith Tkachuk?
No. There's a Chuck in there.
We probably play with him.
Yeah, you do. There we go.
Active?
Active player.
Dave Anderchuk. Playing in the South. Anderchuk. Sundin?
Not Matt.
Dave Anderchuk.
There it is.
That's where we
He
go
went
right
deep. And his bread and butter is in front of the net.
Anderchuk.
There we go.
Anderchuk?
Dave Anderchuk. There we go.
I should have gotten that one. I should have gotten that. He's my friend.
Here's Andrechuk going right in the goal. The driving goal. Here comes Dave Andrechuk. Takes the shot. He scores.
Chicago stopper Jocelyn Thibault is next.
I fell off a little bit, but got back up, and I guess I need to go through tough times in order to be a better goalie.
Be a Player, sponsored by EA Sports NHL 2003. If it's in the game, it's in the game.
From 1957 to 1967, this building here on South Michigan Avenue was a temple of blues and a recording home for rock and roll. It was a home to Chess Records and hosted such blues legends as Muddy Waters and Bo Diddley. Chuck Berry recorded 4 top 10 singles here, and the Rolling Stones song 2120 South Michigan Avenue was named here in 1964. Today, the building is home to the Blues Heaven Foundation, a charity organization that promotes the blues. One player that's definitely not singing the blues these days is Jocelyn Thibault. Here's part 3 of her profile with the Hawks All-Star.
Sanderson moves in and fires. And a save by Thibault. An open it for Grant, and somehow Thibault stopped it. And a save by Thibault.
You mentioned all the games you played. Some goalies, depending on where they are in their career, it's either too much pressure or being the #1 guy. You seem to be very comfortable in that role.
Well, there's 2 things about playing a lot of games. I really like it. First of all, I really enjoy to play a lot of games, that's for sure. But you don't want to play just to play, you know. You want to play and you want to be consistent and you want to be good every night, you know. It's not going to happen, but, you know, you really want to be as consistent as you can be. And that's the greatest challenge you can have, you know. You look at a guy like Habib Boulin or Marty Brodeur, you know, he plays even more than us, you know. Guys that are playing close to 70 games a year, you know, it's tough to play a lot of games. And I think I got a lot better this year at it. But there's no doubt I like to play a lot of games. And it's much easier, and you learn a lot more.
The team seems to be doing better this year without the so-called big names. Why do you think that is?
Well, yeah. Well, I think the fact that we had a couple tough years, I'd say from '98 to 2000. You know, I think we lost a lot of fan interest. You know, we didn't play very good for a couple of years, and starting last year, we started to reestablish ourselves as one of the best teams in the NHL. So it's coming back, you know. But a lot of players, I think they deserve a little more recognition throughout the league. Eric Dawes was the MVP of the All-Star game last year. Steve Sullivan's been outstanding since he's been here. So it's coming. Guys are getting more and more recognition, and it's I guess that's the price to pay after going through a couple tough years.
How did it feel to be named to the All-Star team?
Felt great. I wouldn't say it's a dream come true, but sure was a goal of mine this year to establish myself as one of the top goalers in the league, and I really wanted to take that next step in my career, and to be named to a team like that, to me it's more of a symbolic, honor. That means that you're appreciated throughout the league, and at the same time I feel very blessed to play for a good defensive team. It really helped me out a lot this year to be here in Chicago.
Over the Hawk line, fire, to the save, trying to catch him, shoot, to the save.
You've been one of the key players to take this team from not making the playoffs to being a respectable club. Do you take pride in that?
Yeah, I'm very proud of that. After my first 2 years in Chicago, we missed the playoffs, and obviously I was playing pretty good, but we had a new GM in place, and there's going to be changes made, but I wanted to be part of the guys that were going to turn this thing around. We were talking about that, and I said, we're not doing very good right now, but I just hope they're still going to have faith in me and rebuild around me so I can be here when the team wins again. And it happened. Last year we made the playoffs, and I was very proud to be one of the players that turned things around here in Chicago. And this year the same thing, and the city is coming back slowly to support us, so it's a great feeling, and I'm glad that they had faith in me.
Kovacic shooting. Oh, what a glove save that time by Thibault.
10 years ago, you were a top prospect. 5 years ago, you were struggling with Montreal. Now, today, you're an NHL All-Star. It's great to see that you persevered.
Thanks, but again, my first, obviously when you're junior, you're top drafted players, things aren't easy, you get to the NHL, everybody's excited, you're excited, there's high expectations, but teams are willing to wait a little bit for you to establish yourself. But after a few years, all that fun is gone, and then it's your job and you have to establish yourself, and now teams are not patient anymore, and that's when some guys fall off and some guys keep going up, and I fell off a little bit, but got back and got back up, and I guess I need to go through tough times in order to be a better goalie.
It doesn't kill you, makes you stronger.
Exactly.
I know it's winter time, but a trip to Chicago wouldn't be complete without a visit to Wrigley Field. The stadium is the second oldest in the major leagues and has a scoreboard that still gets changed by hand. That wraps up this edition of Be a Player. I'd like to thank Jocelyn Thibault for joining me at cooking school. It was a lot of fun. Make sure you catch next week's show as we visit Boston to hook up with the Bruins all-star sniper, Glenn Murray. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.
Brett Lindros' clothing supplied by The Coop, Clothing for Men, Toronto. NHLPA.com is your source for the latest stats, scores, and NHL player information. Click on Be a Player for the latest show information or to send us your questions and comments. You'll find it all at NHLPA.com.
Brett, you are off the cheese.
Really?
You found any harder cheese? Or?
Join me this week on Be a Player. Oh, all right.